Alright guys, so what I'm doing here is I got the block, and at this point I've already put in all my brass, my plug, my vent, my oil drain. I'm going to use this because I'm using methanol and I don't want it just dribbling all over my bike every time I change the oil, so I've just put this little drain in. But how I prep the inside of my block, I've already gone over this. I'm using the grinder now with the wheel on. Anything, if you feel inside here, any little sharp casting things, there'll be some along these where they're drilled out. If where you came through with the drill bit here, if it's rough, you know, I just see one now here, and you know, right here there's like this big lip, and you know, it's and all around here there's casting flash on your oil holes, and all around here there's ugly casting. I take all that off. If there's any little chips or anything blocking this, you want to get that off. Any type of like castings like this here, so you want to go through everything when you're clearancing your block. You know, you're making your clearance in for the rod and everything like that. If you're stroking, you just want to go through and clearance everything out in here before you move forward with any other work. You know, you don't want any of those little tiny castings breaking off in your oil. Some of them just kind of chip right off. You know, when you just run your hand over it, it'll just chip right off. So I usually just take, you know, any type of like little sandpaper and go over all the surface in there and round and dull anything. And then some of the heavier casting things that you find, like a lot of these corners on here will have little balls of like casting still on them, you know, and then all around, you know, if you can clean this up and get this to roll a little bit better, you know, like if there's like a little lip here, I mean, the splash lubrication is all that's getting in there and doing your piston. So cleaning up any around this will help you get a little bit more life, a little bit better oil up on your piston. So just always go inside your block and you know, take and just sand it around and double check everything, and you know, sand inside these. There'll be little flakes. You don't want to have any little flakes. That's the whole thing. You don't want to have any little flakes breaking off inside of your block. You know, cleanliness is the key down here. After I clean it, I'll clean it. After I clean it, I'll hit it with WD-40 because some of this stuff will rust like almost instantaneously. So after I clean it, I hit it with WD-40. After that, I mean, I have a sonic cleaner, so I'll put it in a sonic cleaner. Really get this thing clean. I'll like parts wash it a couple times, wipe it down with WD-40 until the rag comes out clean, and then I'll sonic clean it. And then when I'm putting it together, I clean it again, and I keep cleaning it. And then as I put the parts in and put oil in, I keep wiping them down. But cleanliness is the key. So I mean, first thing on a new block, after it's all been like, you know, straightened, the bore straightened and honed to whatever size you're gonna have it. I had this one laser done with a laser. I don't know if you can see the cross hatching in there. Nah, it's kind of dusty, you can't see it. But it's all, nah, you can't see it. I'll give you guys a better shot of it when the block's flipped upright and doesn't have this weird light on it. But cleanliness, no casting, and move forward from there. Alright, so here's the block after I've done going over and moving any of the casting problems. I did a couple of things on the outside of the block that I didn't, you know, really like being there. I got all my fittings in and epoxied in, the plug in the back, the oil tube in the front, and then all inside, all around, any of the casting areas have been sanded. Any of the casting flaws that were in there have been taken out. Clearanced in the back for the crank, for the stroker. Went over any of the area in the top, all around the bore. especially between the bore and the oil passage. Any lip that's hanging over in the bore, there was a big lip there that would have really stopped oil. Went around all around the bore, nice and clean. Got everything all clearanced and set up in there. And then went through my bore with what I use, acetone, and then right after immediately with WD-40, and took care of that. You can kind of see the laser cross hatching here. It was done with a really cool machine. But so the block's pretty much ready. This block's not getting welded. I'm thinking this one's only going to make like 43 horsepower on methanol. Not going that crazy. But, yep, there's the block.